between CRM and ERP. They provide an excellent starting point for integrating your front end and ERP systems. Next slide, please. So here we see some of the out-of-the-box integrations between CRM and GP. In this diagram, the unidirectional arrow represents a one-way integration between the two systems, while the bidirectional arrow represents a bidirectional or multi-mastered system for those integrations. For the multi-mastered integrations, for example, the customer to account and the corresponding link from GP back to CRM, the systems are truly multi-mastered. Changes in either system are reflected in the complementary system, with no system being defined as the master or system of record for that type of record. Furthermore, you can choose to integrate the customer entity within GP with either an account or contact in CRM. This allows both B2B and B2C organizations to manage how the information flows in the integration. Both are provided out of the box, and you choose which one you want to use to drive how that integration is set up. Most of the other integrations, as you can see from this diagram, are driven from the ERP data, where you would naturally store your pricing, master item, and service lists. Corresponding entities in CRM are made read-only during the adapter installation. We briefly mentioned that during one of the previous slides, that the plugins actually make those entities read-only. The other integration of notice here is the order integration, which is also a bidirectional. Orders can be added to either system. However, once orders are entered into CRM and submitted to ERP, GP then becomes the master system, and the corresponding order in CRM is made read-only. And all that user interface is actually built into the connector installation as well. So, next slide as well. So the next level of the pyramid provides the level for business-driven modifications. On this level, again, the connector client is the interface used to view and manage the business-driven modifications. Here you can make changes to the schedules for the integrations. Furthermore, you can define when and how you are notified about any exceptions that may occur during the functioning of the connector. The connector client also allows you to make changes to the map for each particular integration. Here you can choose which fields you would like to map, as well as use constants and functions within your data map. You can change the out-of-the-box field mappings, or you can add to them directly within the connector client interface. Next slide, please. So here's a brief summary of the configurations possible within the connector. We went over some of these items, but we'll just kind of briefly go through this list. So basically, the map templates are handled within the connector client. Again, the schedules for those particular maps, for those integrations, are also set up within the connector client. All of them have an out-of-the-box schedule, but you have the capability to modify those schedules. Some integrations you may want to run less often, just to make the connector more efficient, so that it doesn't take up as much process. And some you may want to map ones to run more often, as frequently as once per second or 5 seconds, so that it's virtually a real-time sync between your two applications. The notifications, you can choose how and when and how the system will email you if any problems occur. Those options are immediately, daily, weekly. The connector also has a robust exception handling mechanism. Basically, some integrations, they may fail if they're timing related. For instance, if one record, if a new account is added synced to GP, and then an order is added, but the customer record hasn't been created yet. That might be an example of a timing issue. And in those timing issues, the connector actually knows to try that particular, try that record again, the record that failed. And if it's timing related, it'll succeed in a subsequent attempt to send that record or sync that record's data with the corresponding applications. Other errors may require your intervention. There's a detailed log file that details all the transactions that the connector goes through, and that can be accessed directly through the connector client as well. The import and export maps features allows you to transfer customized maps to another GP company. It's basically a very simple interface so that if you make customizations, it's easily deployed to a complement from a test environment to a production environment or within different Dynamics GP companies as well. Next slide, please. So finally, at the top of the pyramid, we see the developer customization. So we mentioned that you can do a lot with the out-of-the-box functionality through the connector client, but there's also a connector SDK that provides a way to extend the connector to accomplish other business objectives that you may not be able to handle through the mechanisms we've already described. With the SDK, you can create integrations between previously unconnected entities within your systems. This includes any custom entities within CRM or other out-of-the-box entities that are not mapped in the predefined maps. With the SDK, you can even create your own adapters to work with homegrown systems or other applications not within the Dynamics family product line. Next slide, please. So how do you use the SDK? You can use the SDK within Visual Studio. There's templates that you can use. Using templates, you can create both adapters and object providers. Additionally, you can add functions to the already comprehensive list of functions available in the out-of-the-box connector. If there's a common transformation that you use, you can build that function and it'll be available as a drop-down in the list of functions. Deployment to another system is simple. You simply copy the source files and directories, and then you register your new adapter with the connector. Next slide, please. So now that we've looked into some of the features of the connector, let's revisit that architectural diagram we previously saw, but here we can look under the hood at each component. On the outskirts of the diagram, you see your ERP and CRM applications with their corresponding database stores and their web services, which are used to communicate with the applications. The web services are obviously linked to the connector via the adapters in the connector, and the connector itself has different components built in to handle the transformation service, logging, and threading that are part of the data transformation from one system to the other. The client, again, is the front end of the connector, and it provides an interface to set up documents, notifications, security, and mapping. Finally, we see the connector store. This is a small SQL database as well, and it stores the configuration, status, and exceptions that may occur when you're using the connector. That's obviously installed during the install of the connector itself. Next slide, please. So now what you have all been waiting for, the demo. I will now hand off to one of our senior consultants here at MIG, Oliver Triunfo. Oliver will walk us through some sample stories illustrating how the connector can be used with CRM 2011 and Dynamics GP 2010. Oliver, please continue.
Thanks, Gaurav. So for this demo, what I'm going to show you is using CRM 2011 and Dynamics GP 2010. I will create an account, and what we'll see is that account will integrate into Dynamics GP. I also will create a sales order, and we'll see that flow through. From GP, we'll transfer an order to an invoice, and we'll see that flow through back into CRM. After that, I'll show you the user interface for the GP connector. Okay, so from CRM, what I'm going to use is Microsoft Outlook, and this Microsoft Outlook is using the CRM plugin. Okay, so I'm going to the accounts entity here, and basically I'm going to create a new account. Right-click and click on New Account here. Okay, so I'm just going to give a name for this. So I'm just going to call this Demo USA. And for the account number, I'll just call this Demo 03. And I'll set my relation type to customer. Let's give an address name for this. Okay. Okay, and let me just scroll down here for a second. Okay, and I just want to increase my credit limit here to $100,000. Okay, so I'll save this. Okay, and I save this account, and I'm going to submit this to my ERP system by clicking on the Submit button. Okay, so I created a new account called Demo 03, and this will integrate into Dynamics GP. In the meantime, I will also create an order for this account. To do that, I'll go to Orders here. And I'll say New Order. Okay. And now I will give a name for this order. Call this Demo Order. Select the price list. And for the price list, I will select Retail. Okay. And next up, I'm going to save this and add a product to this order. So click on Products here. Click on Add a New Product. And from here on my order page, I'm able to select from existing products, or I could also select write in to just write in a product identifier. Now, if I select existing, this list of products are coming directly from Dynamics GP. So I'm just going to select an item here. Okay, I'm going to select green phone. And my unit of measure is going to be each. So I'm just going to order one green phone. Okay, let me save this. Okay, all right, so I'll go back to my order screen, my order header, and I'll just recalculate this page here. Okay, so I see my order is now for $59.95, and what I'll do here is I will go ahead and submit this order, and that's going to queue it up in the Dynamics CRM connector to be sent to Dynamics ERP. Okay, so let me just close this screen. Okay, so I'm going to Dynamics GP now, and I see my dashboard here, and I'm going to select Sales Navigation pane. From here, I'll select Customer, and let's take a look. I should see Demo 03. Okay, and we see that it's successfully integrated to Dynamics GP as Demo 03. I didn't fill out an address for this, but that's okay. All right, so let me close this. And next we'll take a look and see the order that I placed. I'll just use a lookup